by the town, near the forest green and brown, is the house of the elf king and queen. And in the garden just behind, the garden is so kind that the flowers grow for him around and everywhere. And daily with his helpers, silk and lawn, he works there, protected by the mother-of-pearly walls. And flower stories I will tell to you, flower stories of green and blue for you. Flower stories I will tell to you, flower stories for you.
The garden was very, very still. It was a warm afternoon and most of the animals were asleep, except for the bees who were gently buzzing in a corner of the garden. But in another part of the garden, something rather strange was happening. "What is it?" said the pansy to the violet. "I don't know. Maybe it's a new sort of flower or bush." "Good afternoon," said the something to the violet. "Good afternoon," answered the violet politely. What are you?" she asked after a pause. "Are you a new flower?" "Don't you know who I am? I'm a bee." "A bee?" said the pansy and violet together. "But you can't be a bee. A bee is striped all over. You can't possibly be a bee." But it was indeed a bee without stripes. "Quite right," interrupted the foxglove. "If you're a bee, I mean, where are your stripes?" I don't know," said the bee. "I didn't know I had to have stripes. Perhaps I am a plain bee." "Plain bee, oh rubbish. Oh rubbish. No such thing as a plain bee, no such thing." "In this garden, bees are striped, all of them." "Oh dear," said the plain bee. Perhaps I'd better go and find some stripes." "Hello," said the plain bee. "I wonder if you can help me. I am a bee, but I don't have any stripes. I'm a plain bee, I think." "You're not a bee. No, bees are striped. Well, in this garden they are," said the head bee. "But I feel like a bee." "You have no stripes. You cannot be a bee." "Oh," said the plain bee sadly. "Can't I be a plain bee?" "A plain bee? Certainly not." If I allowed that, anyone could say they were a bee. I mean, a butterfly could pass herself off as a bee, or even a bird might say he was a bee. A cow might say, no, I'm sorry. No, plain bees, definitely no. The poor plain bee buzzed sadly on his way through the garden. He was dreadfully unhappy. "If I am not a bee, then who am I? Oh dear, what am I going to do?" And the plain bee flopped down by the marigold patch, feeling very sad. James, nearby, was having an afternoon nap. Well, it was more a sort of daydream. He said, "I wonder what it would be like to be someone else. After all, I'm a very plain sort of shape, with such dull colours. Now, what about a rabbit? Yes." No, no, not with those ears. And that tail, that's really silly. Yeah, Perhaps something small and neat. Yes, a mouse. Yes,
No. No, not a mouse. No, definitely not a mouse. Yes, a mouse doesn't have enough, authority. Feathers. A duck. Oh, no, how common and vulgar. I like the idea of feathers there. Now, what's distinguished and, oh, yes, an owl. Yes, I like that. Why, it would look just like me. Dear, dear. Word. People would come to me with their problems, and I'd help them and do my best to be honest and kind and helpful and... Excuse me, I wonder if you could help me. What? I mean, beg pardon, said James, cross at having his daydreams disturbed. Who said that? Oh, there you are. Do you think that I'd make a good owl?
No,
said the plain bee.
You're a cat, and I'm a bee.
A bee? Said James. No, if you're a bee, then I'm an owl.
No, please listen to me. I am a bee without stripes. No one in the garden will help me, not even the other bees. I heard you saying how good and kind you were. And so I thought you might help.
Oh, that's terrible, said James. Terrible, terrible. What a sad story. Well, you've come to the right person. I'll help you. Now, let me see. That's it. You need stripes, so I'll paint you. Yes, I'll paint you. Oh, dear. No. No, that doesn't look quite right. No, we'll try again. Oh, yes, that's better. But you still don't look like a bee.
I think,
said the plain bee,
that the stripes go the other way.
Oh, said James. Oh, dear. What are you doing, James? Said Silk. Painting stripes on this poor plain bee. Oh, you silly thing, said Silk. What will happen when it rains? I mean, the paint will run. Oh. Oh, my, said James sadly. Don't worry, said Silk kindly to the plain bee, who was by now beginning to cry. I have an idea. Now just wait there. I'll be back soon. Now, just try this on. There we are. Oh, it does fit well. What is it? Said James. It's a bee cozy. I knitted it myself.
Oh, thank you,
said the plain bee, sniffing.
Now I could be a proper bee.
Wait, said Silk. Wait and see if the other bees notice. Ah, here comes one.
Come on, said the other bee. You'll be late for tea.
He's not a plain bee.
I really am a bee.
Now he's an ordinary bee. And he can fly anywhere. He's got stripes and he don't care. He's not a plain bee. He's not a plain bee.
Imagine that. a bee with knitted stripes. Ah, a bee cozy. I'm so glad I could help the poor thing. A knitted bee cozy. Well, that's probably one of my most brilliant ideas. Whose brilliant idea? Asked Silk. Oh, yes. Well, you know, I mean, bringing him to you. Of course. Oh.
On a hill by the town, near the forest green and brown, is the house of the Elf King and Queen. And in the garden just behind, the garden is so kind that the flowers grow for him around and everywhere. And daily with his helpers, Silk and Lawn, he works there, protected by the mother-of-pearl walls. And flower stories I will tell to you, flower stories of green and blue for you, flower stories I will tell to you, flower stories for